What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy the Middle Aged Gamer and this is the 2023 Tokyo Marui SG-09R, or as we know it as the Resident Evil 4 Remake USP. This was released back at the beginning of April and OMG has it been an absolute pleasure. This has just been a dream gun come true. I really do love the USP. You'll know there's been several on this channel from various manufacturers, KWA and TM themselves, with their full-size USP. So let's see what the mad lads at Tokyo Marui have done and if they really have captured the in-game, weapon properly. So, with this becoming with 2 magazines, we can have a look at the spare magazine to go over. These are basically standard USP 9mm full size, whatever you want to call it, from the last video I did on a USP, the TM full size. They're exactly the same magazines. They didn't need to change them. You have your 9x19 there. You have your witness holes on the back, or your mock ones, showing up to 15 rounds, because that was the capacity of the real steel. You do have your Tokyo Marui manufacturer's marking for legal reasons there, and at the bottom we do have the HK USP markings with the fill valve. These are brilliant magazines. They hold 25 rounds, although I would only ever load it to 24, just to make sure you don't put too much stress on that follower spring. It's one of the weakest links in magazines, and it also can cause misfeeds, so best to just leave it at 24, but 24 is still plenty enough. Now moving on to the gun itself, this is an absolute beautiful piece. The stippling and the design on the grip is phenomenal. The entire lower frame and grip is custom to this gun. It's all about an inch longer than the standard USP, full size as you would say, and that is brilliant. So as you can see, you do get your serial number here, which is your in-game universe serial number for the gun. You do get this lovely stippling. It's an homage to the Mark 23 sort of thing, but without the diamond stippling on the back. It's lovely. It's kind of keeping its pedigree. You do get finger grooves, which are actually quite nice to hold in your hand, and it is a good gun to hold. It's not like the compact that's biting you or nipping you in the, the web of your fingers and so on. This just feels really good. Now, this does have a standard USP magazine release, so we can remove the mag that was in there. And that will lead us up to our trigger. Now, our trigger is a DSA trigger. Of course, you can fire the gun just by pulling it in double action mode, but that's no fun. If you put it into single action mode, you have a 1, 2, 3 mil creep to the wall, 1 mil break, and a 3 millimeter reset. As you can hear, you get a very positive break and tactile with very audible, over your, mask and so on. It's quite nice. You know you're firing this gun, which is really good, especially for timing. Now, of course, this being a USP, you do have your safe for up for safe, down for fire, and down again to decock. If you notice, it does go to the halfway point, meaning your first pull now is going to be completely nice and easy, and then you can get to the, 1.5 pull, which is a bit more stiffer than normal, but it's in, which would then have your light follow-up shot. It's really nice. You do get your enlarged slide stop release, which is standard to the full size. It's not been changed apart from the color. Moving forward, we do get to this very long, nice rail, which is awesome. It can fit pretty much all types of lights and lasers on there, which is really good. You don't have that horrible proprietary, HK proprietary mount. They've got rid of that and just went Picatinny for this, bringing it into the modern age. Moving up, you do have the muzzle brake or compensator, whichever you want to call it. That's fixed to the front here, which is awesome. You get the nice ports on the top and a fixed, low profile front sight, which has been sighted correctly to the standard rear sight. Now, if we look here, you can see where the original sight was. They filled it in with a nice piece. That is removable. You can actually take that out. You do get your HK USP markings, all the official proof marks, including, if I can get that in here, you can see one's in there as well, which matches, which is really good. Adding to the provenance of the gun. You do still get the nice stippling here to pull and pull it back. The sight at the rear is metal, which is quite nice. Now, as you can see, you have your markings on here, but you do still have the marking here. Even though the safety is not ambidextrous out of the box, you can purchase a ambidextrous safety for this and it will fit and work perfectly fine. So yeah, really good in that respect. You do get the Tokyo Marui here for legal reasons as well. There are no USP markings on this part, with this being a custom. You do, however, get your serial number on the barrel and your caliber and your HK. The serial number will match this one here on the slide from the original gun that you used to swap the frame out from. And you do get the kendo. Now this is a kendo gun. I know that many people were very confused with Resident Evil 2 and sort of like just said, well, he's dead, so when Resident Evil 4 came out and he's using a kendo gun, why is there another kendo gun if Robert Kendo is dead? Well, the lore, if I remember rightly, is Leon heard that his brother escaped Raccoon City before the virus, as you would say, luckily, whichever way you want to call it, and continued his brother's work. They were both armorers and custom fitters for guns, so they both worked together. The Samurai Edge was not really just created by Robert Kendo, it's created by both, and they had their own specs. That's why Chris had one, and Jill had one that was slightly different, and all this stuff in the in-universe. It's an entire lore system you can go into. But when Leon heard that there was a Kendo still making, just out of homage, because it really affected him in the game, in Resident Evil 2, you see it, how he feels really bad. I even questioned it to Ada at the time, and it's just the realities of a zombie infection, I guess. But yeah, so that is the overview. Let's take this outside and see how she shoots. Okay, I'm using Nupro 1 and 2 5-gram BBs. Okay, so with 2 5-gram BBs and Nupro 1, we're looking at around about, call it 260 FPS, average 258, 260. Not bad. Okay, let's push the SG-09R back to 10 meters and let's see what the grouping size is. Okay, thumb test, it's just outside hand. This is 6 inches by 6 inches, so I'll let you be the judge. Okay, let's give the SG-09R its own fair shake on the Texas Star. Okay, so let's take it back and see how well she does. Five for 5. Perfect. Okay, so now that we've got the chronograph done, OMG, now guys, this was absolutely phenomenal. Now, wow, she's accurate, very accurate, and will clear the rack no problem. And I think basically the longer sight picture does help. That inch just gives you a little bit more, how would you say, accuracy and confidence. Also, with that extra weight up front, I guess with the light as well, will help with the muzzle rise as the, you know, the recoil management and all that stuff. So that's kind of cool. So with that being said, let's take a look at the inside. So, as you can see, no BBs in the mag. There is no BBs in the chamber. Now, to adjust the hop on this thing, you can actually do it by putting your finger in the hop and change. I love that about the USP and Marui's new designs. I think that's awesome. We are going to leave the slide locked back because, as you can see here, we have an Allen key as well that came with it, and we got to undo the muzzle brake. So we do that quite simply. just by using the supplied key. If you get to a certain point, we should be able to eat. There we go. It's a very tight screw, which is quite nice. It means it's not going to back itself out anytime soon. That's good for us. Come on, on you go. It should be off now. We can take that out. So as you can see, that gives you your compensator right there, which is quite nice. Now that we've done that, we can actually drop the slide. Now the slide itself is a standard full-size Marui slide for their 9mm. As you can see, you get that little bit there which adds the air length with the compensator. So what we need to do is take it to about here, pop the pin from the other side and pull out the slide stop release, and now we can take the slide off. Now everything inside here is identical to the standard full-size Marui. It basically is the same internals. The only thing different is the entire frame itself. That's the main difference. The polymer they use is much better than the original full-size USP, so it's more rigid. I'll give them that with this custom frame. And like I say, but everything else is identical. What's steel is steel, what's not steel is aluminum or hardened metal, so that it's not going to break. I know all the springs are steel and so on. It is just a simple, quite beautiful system. Now what we can do is put that on there. We'll get that out of the way a second. Bugger it. No, we'll put it over there. Now, the slide itself, again, like I say, is a standard full-length Marui slide, so we can just remove the recoil rod and dual springs, which is quite nice. The dual springs really help with this. I do like it when they've got two springs because it kind of dampens that recoil and allows you to get a faster follow-up. The hop is identical. It is a standard hop from their full-size USP, so you can, like I say, access it through the breech, which is quite nice. I do like that rather than have the gear down here where you have to disassemble it, because it would be an absolute arse to do so. But yes, you do have a decent inner barrel and hop. It's Marui magic. What more can we say? As for the frame, you can see all the raised sections and reinforced parts that they've put on this, which is really good. They've added material where it should be, just like they did on the full size. And from here, if I get this, I don't know if it can, this part here to about here is full metal, all the way back to here. And that's on both sides. That's your blowback housing, which with the extra material does actually add a bit more support to the rear where all the big bang goes of gas. Now, this is also where your bolt will lock. So as it goes up, the slide stop goes up, it will slide and lock your slide, should I say, not bolt. But yeah, your nozzle is still your enlarged, and cylinder, piston head, the lot, it's all basically the same. Now, one cool thing about this gun is you can remove these two screws here, and that'll take off the rear sight. And with that, you can add the USP RMR mounting plate, which Tokyo Marui actually do make for their gun. So yeah, if you want to put a red dot on this, you can. It's very easy. So yeah, a definite would do. Reassembly, as you can see, it's quite simple. It's not a nightmare like people would think. So we'll just put that in, pull that to the takedown part. We'll put the pin back in. Come on, there we go. You hear it click, slide it back and lock it up. Then we'll get the muzzle brake, which we need to put in a certain way, like that. Okay, make sure that it's all lined up. Yep. Slide that in. And now we just need to do it. So yeah, I'd love to get that RMR plate, and what I've done is put one on order from Japan. So that's going to take a while to arrive, as always. I don't know what's been going on with customs lately, but everything's been taken from, instead of a couple of days in customs, it's taken a few weeks, which is ridiculous for small things. I wouldn't mind if it was something like, oh, they really need to check for legal, like, okay, guns, but parts, magazines, for instance, was the same. You know, I've had those being held now, and yeah, there is some resistance. That's one thing I've noticed though with Allen key. They don't put the cut depth correctly. It's not very deep inside, if you get what I mean. So that's why your Allen keys always fall out. But using what they came with it, because that's what you would be doing. So there you go. And we can lock that back. But as you can see, the sight picture on this is nice. You got 3 white dots. It is just an absolute beautiful beast of a gun. So yeah, there we have it, guys. The SG-09R. I love it. It's accurate. I do like the fact that because it is basically the internals of the USP full size, with no modifications in that respect apart from the frame and the muzzle brake on it and the colour, it basically means that you can get replacement parts for it very easily. I've heard you can use the metal slide kit for the full-size TM USP. It's very rare and it is very expensive, but you can purchase one of them and convert this to a metal slide if you wish. If you're into that, I don't know why you would want to really, but it's your own thing. For me, I like leaving it as is. I think this is going to be on display for a long time, which is sacrilege, as I really want to use it. But it's kind of like, because it is a extremely limited gun, I don't want to damage it. So maybe swap the slide over to a standard USP or something. I don't know. Well, something to look for in the future, but I will be getting the RMR on this, and if I like it at that time, I probably would use it in gameplay. It's one that I would actually consider doing, I guess. So yeah, again, its thoughts are based off of just personal thoughts at the end of the day, but I really love it. I think this is awesome. Is it worth the 300 quid price tag? Yes. Yes, because if you were to get the custom slide anyway and a USP, so go out to buy a USP today, they're about 150 quid. Custom slide with this sort of stuff, which there are none. But if they did, you'd be looking about another 70, 80 quid, which has now brought it up to, 230 quid. You got your compensator you'll need to buy for it. That's another 30 quid. An extra magazine. So yeah, you really are getting your 300 quid's worth out of the box, plus all that lovely packaging, which I know people don't like hearing about, but it is good how they've done this one. And like I say, you get all that bump and stuff, so yeah, it's worth the 300 quid. Really is. I would definitely say go out there and buy one. It is absolutely beautiful. I do love Res Evil 4. The remake has been absolutely amazing. But yeah, I just wish it had the missing missions, like the Ada Wong missions and that. But other than that, like I say, definitely a keeper, this gun. So yeah, as always, I've been the Middle-Aged Gamer, and you guys have been absolutely amazing.